evening, all the participants. Good evening, all the participants. It has been my pleasure to be part of this session organized by the Insurance Pathshala. Mr. Jaswantji has been taking good interest in the awareness, creating awareness and educating on the general non-life and life insurance subjects on very many aspects, particularly after the pandemic. The web platform has started being utilized in a larger way, and this opportunity has been taken rightly by Mr. Jaswantji, and with Insurance Pathshala. Yeah, even a couple of weeks back, there was a session on the vehicle, how the driverless vehicle, what are the challenges, was a subject of the discussion. Today, we'll be largely discussing about the liability insurance. Liability insurance per se is a very vast subject. I can very simply put it. It's time frame of minutes, but still I have tried to cover up. Unfortunately, the PowerPoint presentation, I'm not able to take it forward. Really, I'm sorry for that. And congratulations to Mr. Jaswantji and Insurance Pathshala organizers. And I could just see, I could learn that there is a participant from across. There are students, fraternity from the insurance industry. There has been a good number of participants. I am just informed, not only the officials, the intermediaries, the brokers, and the agents and consultants, the very learned professionals are also there as part of this program. I'm really very glad about it. Since there are freshers in this program, I thought it fit. The topic is introduction as well as unfolding scenario. In the first 10 minutes, we'll be discussing on the basic tenets, basic concepts of the liability insurance. And next 10 minutes, we'll be talking on the policies. Again, when we talk about the policies, it will be on a very broader framework. As all of you are aware, the products are very, especially when it is connected with the legal, there is generally there is a sort of hesitation to go into that in a very detailed way. So that way the products have, as any other product, the liability products are also having three larger parts. One is the coverage, second is the conditions, third one is the exclusions. We may not be able to cover up entirely, but we will be talking in general on the, taking an overview on the coverages. Then at the final 10 minutes, we'll be talking about the unfolding scenario, the emerging scenario in the liability insurance with particular specification of on a couple of products. So this is how I would like to go about. Before starting the session, Mr. Jaswantji wanted me to give a brief introduction about myself. Association with this general insurance industry for the past 35 years plus. Joined the Oriental Insurance Company in the year 1984. I retired a couple of months back at the end of June as Senior Division Manager of the Oriental Insurance Company Limited, Division Office 12, Bangalore. In the process of these 35 years of my association with the general insurance industry, I have worked in different departments of the Oriental Insurance Company, including in the market as senior as branch manager and senior division manager. The as far as my other academics are concerned, apart from my graduation, I have done my Bachelor of Law in the year 2004, and in the insurance education, I have done my fellowship examination in the year 2004, and is a member of the Federal Insurance Institute of India, Mumbai. As far as my other experiences, I have been part of the sessions at our regional training center, and have been part of the panel discussions on various seminars organized by different forums. And I have also been associated with the National Confederation of General Insurance Officers, particularly in regard to their pre-promotion examination, fast track session fast track examinations are also there. For them, a crash course like program used to be conducted on the examinations from the examination point of view. I've also been a convener of that. So with this a brief introduction, I would like to straight away go into the PowerPoint presentation. Of course, I'm not able to display it due to certain technical issues. I'm sure it will be shared with you also. Now, talking about the liability insurance, when we say primarily what it covers, as like any other insurance, subject matter of insurance, there is no tangible product largely as far as the liability insurance is concerned. The liability here, what is the legal liability? So once you say legal, of course, for any insurance policy, one need to have a legal perception of the policy, the coverage, or the interpretation of the coverage, the interpretation of the conditions. A legal perception would be essential. Whereas in regard to the liability policies, it is in and out, it is totally in regard to the legal perception of things of the liability. So that way it means legal liability enforceable at law, wherever it occurs. Legal liability is broadly can be classified into civil liability and criminal liability. Broad branches of legal liability, we can take it as civil and criminal. While the civil liability is insurable, criminal liability is not insurable. There may be here and there some exceptions, but for the broader understanding, you can take it that the civil liability is only insurable. So what are the constraints of on the insurability? What are the constraints? Application of rule of uncertainty. What is not explicitly excluded in insurance? As I was mentioning, in any policy, there will be three sections. One section is exclusively devoted to the exclusions. So which is an exclusion under a policy that cannot be covered. Second thing is positive scope of cover. All risk, sudden and accidental, treated as unexpected and unintended. This is what we say that it is covered under a policy. When we come to next move on to the civil liability, it will spring from what is a civil liability. I'm not going too technical into these aspects, but for a common man understanding, for a general perception of the civil liability, what it says, it is the law of torts or common law, statutes, and contract. So three aspects of civil liability are defined. One is the law of torts. What is meant by law of torts? It is there is no automatic right to obtain compensation for any injury or damage. To succeed in his claim, the claimant has to prove the civil liability of the wrongdoer. So for example, in a very, very rudimentary way, a basic way, the motor policy is very well known. And motor third-party liability is also a known cover for almost all of us. So what is the liability that we cover there? When a person is using a vehicle on the road, on a public road, and he hits somebody or hits a property, the damage, loss or damage caused to the property or injury or death resulting from the accident becomes payable under the legal liability, as a legal liability. So in other words, we can say that when the other person's right is affected, he is entitled to a compensation. This is a very simple explanation under the civil liability, we can just say. In respect of this liability, when I was mentioning about the motor insurance, the liability part of it, there are also two prongs. One is the civil liability when an injury is caused. One aspect of the compensation is the civil liability. The other aspect is the criminal liability, which is governed by the traffic rules, the fines, penalties, and all that. The fines and penalties comes under the criminal law, and that will not be part of any of the insurance angle. From the insurance perception, that will not get covered, whereas the civil aspects of a liability, legal liability, is covered under the liability policies. Here, when we say law of torts, that basically there is a wrongdoer. Wrongdoer means what it means. Negligently, someone is doing something which affects others, or someone has committing an omission. a commission of an act is affecting the right of the other person, or omission to do a thing is affecting the right of the other person. This is what a simple meaning of a law of tort. And when it happens, the tortfeasor, the wrongdoer, becomes legally liable to make a compensation payable to the person who has been affected by the either commission or omission act of the person who has done. So that is known as tortfeasor. So the word tort means a civil wrong. It is different from a crime. To constitute a tort, there must be a negligent act committed or an act of omission unintentionally. So intentionally, when something is done, automatically that becomes totally a crime, exclusive crime, which may not form part of this liability. Wherever there is a breach of ordinary duty of care arising from the social obligations of a person, it is known as common law liability or a tort liability. So tort liability, breach of the general duty, but dependent of contract giving rise to a civil cause of action and for which damages are recoverable. So exclusive term that is used in the liability portion is that the compensation is otherwise called as damages. So that for which damages are recoverable. Damages, it is compensation payable in respect of a civil wrong, a tortious act resulting in personal injuries or damage to property. Statutes. So one more aspect, as we were discussing initially, it is a three-pronged. The civil wrong or civil liability is a three-pronged. One is based on the tort, or there is common law. Second one is under statutes. If you, an example, as I was mentioning, say under the Motor Vehicles Act, there is a law stipulates how the compensation becomes payable. The statute speaks of it. Similarly, WC Act, Workmen's Compensation Act, now it is known as Employers' Liability. So that act also, these are some statutes wherein from the statute, the liability compensation is stipulated, is initiated, and is made mandatory. Similarly, you can take the Public Liability Insurance Act, PLI Act 1991. So we'll be discussing about that also in the later part. Under employees' liability and also vehicle owners' liability, the liability is absolute. Say, for example, that absolute, what is an absolute liability and what is liability, strict liability, we'll be discussing in the next slide. In case of no fault liability, there is a provision in the Motor Vehicles Act, as you are all aware. There is a provision, even in the event of no fault on the part of the wrongdoer who has caused the accident, still Vehicles Act. So that is an example, that is the example of an absolute liability. Then we going on to the strict liability and absolute liability. Recent example, the LG Polymers. In Vizag, there was a gas leak, and in the Vizag gas leak, the Supreme Court has come down here as it is. The National Greens Tribunal directed the company to deposit an initial amount of 50 crores now. So in the Vizag gas leak, which has of a recent origin, you can just know whenever there is a substance which has leaked from an industry causing injury or damage to others, then that becomes a liability. The owner becomes liable for making compensation under the provisions of course, this would come under the Public Liability Insurance Act. So similar way, where this is known as the, even in the absence of even no negligent act was there, still based on the strict liability, the compensation would become payable. Similarly, in is an example of legal liability arising out of contracts. So I'm not going much deeper into these aspects. Next, we will be moving on to the types of liability policies available in the market as it is. The conventional type of policies, as you are aware, public liability. First, we talk of public liability, industrial, product liability, professional indemnity, errors and omission insurance. So these are the broader conventional list of the conventional liability policies. And in the recent time, which has assumed more of importance, are the directors and officers liability, commercial general liability, cyber liability, other specialized liabilities. Other than these liability policies, of course, as I was mentioning, statutory liability policies, employers liability, motor third-party liability, Public Liability Insurance Act 90, PLA Act 1991. This is also part of that. Now we move on to certain terms specific to liability insurance. See, generally we know an insurance policy will have common terminologies like policy period or claims. These are all almost common for all the policies, whereas the liability policies have a specific application or of special terms. So these I'll try to just explain in brief. One is policy period of insurance. There are two things. These two are different. I'll be just touching upon this also. Retroactive date. Retroactive date is very, very special to the liability policies. And the fourth one is claims made basis. The policy issuance, there are two types of, again, issuance of the policy for the liability section. One is on claims made basis, another one is occurrence basis. And these are the broader special terms used in the liability policy. Other than this, of course, right to defend, duty to defend, these are also very specific to, in the larger context, very specific to the liability policies. I'll be touching upon these aspects in the next few minutes. Other than this, limit of liability. See, in all policies, we can just know it is governed by the sum insured. Any other policies, you call it, it is the sum insured, whereas in all liability policies, the sum insured is called in terms of, or it is specified, or it is, the nomenclature is limit of liability. It is not sum insured. It is not called sum insured. It is the limit of liability. So the limit of liability is the maximum liable amount under the policy which becomes payable in the event of loss. So that is why it is known as the limit of liability. Under the limit of liability, there are two terminologies again there: any one accident and any 1 year. Two limits will be made available. This will be in a ratio. Say, for example, any one accident and any 1 year, the ratios available in the market are 1:1, 1:2, 1:3, and 1:4. Now, there are certain exceptions are taking place, but conventionally, these are the 4 ratio made available for opting for by the insured to have the limit of indemnity. That is, any 1 year and any one accident, the ratio between AOA and AOY will be 1:1. In which case, say for example, an insured opts for 1 crore of sum insured, limit of liability, he opts for any 1 year limit as 1 crore and any one accident limit in the ratio of 1:4, then per accident, the limit of the insurance company, the maximum limit will be 25 lakhs. So 1:4, if it is opted by the insured, it is at the option of the insured. The 1:4 is opted. The any 1 year limit is selected as 1 crore and the ratio is taken as 1:4. Then for any one accident, the maximum limit allowed under the policy, maximum liability under the policy from the insurer will be 25 lakhs only. So these are a few terms which just I would like to touch upon. To pay compensation for legal liability damages, that is to third parties. Here, almost all liability policies are relating to the benefit that will flow to the third party. See, now what is precisely covered, as I was mentioning, the insurer is there, insured is there, in the event of any legal liability arising against the insured for any wrongdoing, commission or omission, the legal liability is due towards a third party who has suffered either injury or damage. So that third party is making a claim against the insured, and ultimately through this policy, the insurer becomes liable to make good the loss. So always in larger context, the legal liability is arising from a third party against the insured. So that way the damages arising out of a wrongful act committed during the policy period and claims made during the policy period. So other than the claimant's cost, fees are also becoming payable. Then we go to the period of cover. So there are two, as I was mentioning, there are special terms but particularly available for the liability insurance. One is known as period of insurance, another one is policy period. In all other, almost all policies, the period of non-life policies, I can specifically say, the period of insurance and policy period are almost same. Whereas when we come to the liability policies, because of the nomenclature, because of the concept of retroactive date, there is two terminologies will come. One is known as period of insurance and another one is policy period. So how the retroactive date is applicable? What is the period of insurance? Here, I'll just give an example. Say, for example, on 1st of January 2016, an organization is taking a public liability insurance policy, general public liability policy, and every year it is being continuously renewed. So when a renewal takes place, the insurer will insert therein the retroactive date. So from the date of first inception of the policy, the period starts and period of insurance starts and until it is continuously renewed. Say, for example, the policy started on 1st January 2016 and current year policy is for the period from 1/1/2020 to 31/12/2020. The policy period is known as 1st January 2020 to 31/12/2020, whereas the period of insurance will be from the retroactive date, that is from the starting inception of the policy, that is 1st January 2016. So this is one special concept, specific concept, terminology pertaining to, exclusively pertaining to the liability insurance. So what it signifies, we'll come to the next aspect. Why this policy period and period of insurance is different. See, especially as I was mentioning, there are two concepts applicable for the liability policies. One is claim made basis and the second is occurrence basis. So what it makes, let me just put it very simply. See, occurrence based, I can just give a very simple example of the motor vehicles. See, a motor vehicle was insured in the year 1st January 2016 to 31st December 2016. There was an accident, but the claim is reported later on. So this is based on occurrence based. So the insurer becoming liable to make good the loss, even though the claim might have been reported later and the policy might not have been renewed also. So based on the occurrence, during the period of occurrence, if the coverage was available, then the insurer become liable to make good the loss, of course, subject to the terms and conditions of the policy. Whereas the claim made basis, as I was mentioning, the retroactive date is very significant in this, and from the date of inception of the policy till today, if the policy has been continuously renewed, and if there was an occurrence in 2016, 2017, and the insured comes to know of it only in the year 2020, then the current insurer become liable for making good the loss which has happened in 2016 or 2017. So this is precisely a claim made basis wherein the insurer become liable to make good the loss which has happened in the previous year, of course subject to the condition that the policy has been continuously renewed, and in the policy the retroactive date is very specially mentioned. So this is what, as far as the two types of policies coming into the coming in the liability section. So next is occurrence based. I've already told you most of the liability policies in the current scenario are written on the claim made basis only. Occurrence based, the insurer are not very much willing. Exceptional, maybe based on the particular request of the insured, it may be agreed upon. But generally, in the liability section today, law, it is written on claim made basis only. There are reasons. Of course, I am not going fully into that because the time. And there is another one nomenclature in the liability section, extended claim reporting clause. Say, for example, in the same example what I mentioned earlier, as January to 2016, the policy has been taken. Till 2019, the policy has been taken. Whereas in 2020, it was not renewed. So what happens? There is a time limit made available, that is up to 90 days is allowed for reporting of the loss, provided no insurance should be there in force during the period and claim treated as if reported on the last day. So this is one special provision under the liability policies, extended claim reporting clause, available up to 90 days after expiry of the policy, provided it is not renewed. So this is one special provision under the liability policies. Then another one is claim series clause. See, when Bhopal gas tragedy took place, you can know for how many years the claim started reporting, people started suffering. Even the example of asbestos in the US, probably most of you may be knowing also, from the year 1930, it started. Sometime in 1960, the lawsuit got succeeded. And from 1960, the company got receiving repeated claims for the injury, the sort of illness that the asbestos was creating, a sort of cancer. So this has been continuously, almost for years together, for decades together, the claims were coming against, were filed against the asbestos. So that way, the claim series clause makes a mention that all claims reported within 3 years of reporting of the first claim is only considered under the policy. So there is a claim series clause based on which the 3 years stipulation is mentioned therein. Then one more specific terminology used is duty to defend, right to defend. Right to defend is the insurer always reserves the right to defend in the event of a suit raised against a claim is made against the insured. That is, any legal suit coming up before a court of law, the insurer reserves the right. So always they can implead themselves, they can take upon and they can defend the case, because ultimately the liability may fall upon them. Whereas a broader special provision is duty to defend, wherein a term is used to describe an insurer's obligation. It becomes, the insurer becomes obliged to provide an insured with defense to claims made, but this is very rarely used. Not again, in the common perspective, it is not that. So duty to defend is very rare, whereas right to defend is always taken in the liability policies. So next we move on to the types of policies available in the conventional way. Primarily, you can just say that what are the, before going into that, what a corporate would face legal challenges, from whom and all they can face challenges. The risk of legal liability can arise against the corporate from whom. I can just list it out. One is the competitors, the shareholders, the public, the product, the manufacturing process, the environmental list, and the statutory and regulatory. So these are the broad list of entities and people from whom a corporate can expect legal action, claims, claiming legal liability and claiming compensation. So against all of them, there are policies available. Different types of liability policies are available. So now we just briefly touch upon the conventional type. As I was mentioning, it is the public liability. It has been a very long there with the insurance industry. Very simple policy. It covers sums which the insured becomes liable to pay as damages to third party. So any third party making a claim against an insured, against a corporate, he suffered accidental death or bodily injury or disease and loss of or damage to property arising out of claims made against the insured. So that gets covered under the public liability policy. Under the public liability, there are two broad segments. One is non-industrial risk and the industrial risk. These two are the broader segments of coverage under the public liability. The ratings are also different. So non-industrial risk, you can just take it as hotels, boarding lodge, auditorium, office, residential premises, schools, exhibition grounds, permanent amusement parks. So all comes under non-industrial. Risk, storage risk, all comes under the industrial risk. Under product liability, next we move to the another product. It covers all sums which the insured becomes legally liable to pay as damages to third parties in respect of accidental death, bodily injury, disease, and or loss of or damage to property arising out of any defects in the products, manufacturers, and having left the insured's premises. So ultimately, when it reaches the consumer, any defect due to in the product resulting in the bodily injury or death, the product liability would trigger for any claim. Under the product liability policy, there is one add-on cover known as product recall, which you can know in the motor segment, motor car segment. So many cars, particularly because of certain security features or certain functional issues, the product will be recalled by the manufacturers. Many of the motor car makers have recalled the product. Likewise, it will happen. So that way, this product liability has a very wide range of application. And recently, you would have also known one of the noodle manufacturers, though the product recall has happened and the product has gone, a consumer product which has gone across, it would have created even the liability, product liability claims against the company. So for such, to take care of such contingency of liability, the product liability comes into the picture, and certain products are stipulated. Say, for example, in the Western markets, in the UK or US, even certain stipulations are made for the products when it is sold in the market. Compulsorily, the product should be sold only after obtaining the liability cover. So, for example, even in the drug manufacturers, medicine manufacturers, there are certain compulsions wherein they are mandatory required to take the product liability cover. So these are the broader aspects. And when we talk about the basis of product liability, manufacturing defect can be there, but please do note, it will not be covering the efficacy under the exclusion. See, one product may be stipulated for particular functioning, or this way it will work like that. Whereas if it is not working, the efficacy of the product is not assured under the product liability policy. Manufacturing defect, design defect, failure to warn, faulty manufacturing process, or malfunction product or packaging. So these are the broader risks that are covered under the product liability, even inadequate warning. So these are the broader aspects of coverage under the product liability. And when we come to the product liability, when the insurance perspective, from the insurance perspective, any tangible property after it has left the custody or control of the insured, which has been designed, manufactured, sold, supplied, or serviced by the insured, that will be the definition of the product covered for the purpose of product liability. For the purpose of rating, how the rating and other conditions apply, it is two broad segments coming up. One is for the domestic consumption and another one is for exports. And under the exports, there are again subdivisions are available. non-OECD countries, OECD countries, and exclusively the USA and Canada. Because as you are all aware, in USA and Canada, the judicial activism, the consumer activists before the judicial forum, the cases that are getting filed in the judiciary by the consumers are very huge. So whenever the product is going to US market or the Canada market, the rating will be very definitely higher as compared to the other countries. If, say, for example, in the given example, the product is being sold only in Indian market, the rates will be lower. If it is going beyond for exports also, then OECD countries, and beyond that, if it is going to the US and Canada market, the rate of premium for covering the product liability will be much higher. So this is what the broader concept of the product liability. Of course, traditionally, this product has been there. Nowadays, it is much picking up also. Then we will move on to the professional indemnity, errors and omission. Under this segment, the target includes are the doctors and medical practitioners, medical establishments, consulting engineers, architects and interior decorators, chartered accountants. The list is a very lengthy list is available. Same way, the professional liability is professional indemnity cover, and errors and omission for the medical establishment and other establishment are broadly sold, broadly purchased, broadly covering the professionals in across to have a coverage against possible legal claims that may come against them. Next, moving on to now, I've just touched upon the target segment, the different policies available. Moving on, I'm just talking about the unfolding scenario. What the liability insurance, how it is emerging now. So emerging trends in the liability insurance, how the covers which are becoming popular and growing now. First, we can just take about the commercial general liability. I was telling you under the conventional policy, the public liability and product liability. Whereas the commercial general liability is generally construed to be a combination of public liability and product liability together with wider cover. I'll be touching upon the wider covers available under the commercial general liability. So precise way, we can just say that commercial general liability, otherwise known as CGL, policy covers liability exposures arising out of business operations. In practice, CGL operates as a combination of public liability and product liability, offers various supplementary covers in the standard wording. So a lot of add-on covers are also nowadays made possible under the CGL cover. If you go by the broad wordings, policy wordings under the CGL policy, coverage A, bodily injury and property damage. Category B, personal and advertising injury. Coverage C, medical payments. So these are the broad coverage available under the CGL policy. What is meant by personal and advertising injury? This has been, many people have raised queries about it. Personal and advertising injury means arising out of one or more of following offenses: false arrest, malicious prosecution, wrongful eviction, defamation libel, oral or written publication that violates person's right of privacy, use of another's advertising idea. So these infringing upon another's copyright. So these will form part of the personal and advertising injury. So these are the broad coverages under the CGL policy. This policy is very much picking up in the past decade, and now going forward, almost all the corporate entities are looking to the coverage under the CGL policy. Even though the manufacturing activity may not be there to cover up the product liability, still even non-industrial houses, non-industrial risk, non-industrial entities are also looking into coverage under the CGL to have the broader coverage than the ordinary public liability policy. So now we move on to the DNO, that Director